Well, did your shirt get shrunk in the...
Truth of the matter is, I was in the office just watching film, and they came and grabbed me. I totally,
I'm just
yeah,
jealous.
yeah. I tell you what, though, I would be remiss if I did not thank my fellow comrades, my former teammates, my former classmates, my family members, veterans across of the world who have served for us, not across the world, United States veterans who have served domestically and foreign. We're very thankful and we appreciate their service, not only on today, but every day, so we can have this freedom where I can stand in front of a podium and you can do your jobs, you know, on that side of the podium as well. So we thank you. And also Chris Gizzy, our strength coach, we want to congratulate him on being our nominee for Salute to Service. So just wanted to say that.
Well said, Mo. So how do you get that field goal team right?
I tell you what, I had a feeling you were going to ask that question. Well, here it is. I'm going to be very, very general, but this is the standard. This is typically what you need to happen to have a successful PAT field goal unit. You're looking for your long snapper to snap the ball with accuracy, location, all right? So that's going to take, and velocity, the same revolutions to get to the holder in the same catch point every time he snaps the ball. And then it's the holder's job, all right, to put that ball down on a spot roughly the size of a dime, okay, and maybe with very little movement, and then lean the ball in the manner that your kicker needs it so that the kicker can hit that right, you know, the proper paneling on the ball to put it through the H. So that is what we're working towards every day. Every special teams coach across America, that's what they're looking for. And you got to do all of that in 1-2-5 to 1-2-8. So I say all that to say it takes time to get that rhythm, and we're working to get that rhythm. At the end of the day, it falls on me. I have to come up with new, innovative ways to make this rhythm happen now because we don't have that luxury. And I promise you, that is what we're working on. You know, that's priority number one in the special teams, to get that operation down pat. And then priority number two, or 1A and 1B, is to get that protection shored up. I tell you what, to play offensive line on the PAT field goal unit is the worst job on the football field. Because essentially what we're asking the offensive lineman to do is to die a slow death every time. So we're going to take these big 6'7", 6'8" offensive linemen. We're going to put them in a crunch stance, okay? And then on the snap of the ball, they have to get their cleats in the ground to brace for 700 pounds of pressure coming at them, okay? And when we're bracing for that 700 pounds of pressure, I can't be too low because he'll go over me. I can't be too high or I'm going to get knocked back and they'll block the ball. So I have to be in that proper sweet spot as I protect and die that slow death. All of this has to happen in 1-2-5 to 1-2-8. So it's my job to come up with drills, with mechanisms that allows these guys to, every time they get in that stance, they're going to say, I'm able to die this slow death for my teammate. So that is the standard. It's all on me, all right? Nobody's running from it. It's right here. All right, and I promise you we're working at it every day. We're playing with some pieces to the puzzle that I talked about before to get the right human beings in the right spot, but we're working at it.
So what is Dennis supposed to do then on that blocked field goal? Because you kind of talk about that, that in-between zone. It kind of looked like he did that, but he didn't hit anything.
Well, what you cannot do, and I'm not necessarily talking specifically about Dennis, I'm talking about offensive linemen who are in the PAT field goal unit, you can never lunge. Anytime you lunge, and that's what happens, you have to be very disciplined, all right? These guys lunge to try to absorb that 700 pounds of pressure that's coming in their face, because what happens, you normally get two individuals or 2-on-1, and they're pushing forward. So human nature says, hey, I have to protect myself, all right? So you get guys that lunge, and then they'll just, what we call swim the C. In that particular instance, it was C gap or the B gap or what have you, and then you get a free run through.
You changed the holder a month in, you changed the long snapper 2 months in. How much of is that rotation and then that stuff kind of bogged down the progress?
It does, but at the end of the day, the standard is the standard. So when a change happens, it's my job, once again, to come up with innovative ways or new ways to make this process happen quicker.
All due respect, Mo, snapping's been going on for like 100 years, and I don't know if there's a new way for you to figure out how to get a guy to put the ball right there. How do you seriously get a guy to get the right rotations? Isn't that just a natural ability?
A lot of it is natural ability, but there are some things that we can do to manipulate that. I don't necessarily want to talk about it because the next coordinator might not know those things, and somebody might be out there saying, well, heck, you don't know about it either. But I tell you what, we are working towards that, and we will get that done. We're going to get it fixed. I'm committed to it. Have to. Mason Crosby deserves better, okay? I owe him. We owe him. We're going to make it happen.
With that said, how many of these kicks have been on Mason, and how many?
Well, I don't want to put a number on it, but I can tell you this. I explained the standard to you. So when the ball is not in that position, all right, kickers have the ability in that 1-2-5 to 1-2-8 to adjust and make the necessary adjustment to where they're trying to hit the ball on that panel and make it go in. So a lot of times to the uninitiated, which I talk about a lot of times, you don't realize sometimes how these specialists, meaning the kickers, are able to manipulate where that ball placement is, and they're able to put it through the H. So, you know, that's what makes Mason so good. When I talked about his process earlier, you know, in the year and how he attacks this thing, he does a great job of correcting in that short period of time.
Fair, though, with what you just said, that most of these aren't on Mason, because you know how it is on the outside. Kicker misses a kick, he gets the blame for it. Mm-hmm. Is it fair to say that most of these haven't been on Mason?
I think it's fair to say you can go. I've given you the standard. You can go and add them up. You know, one thing we won't do, we'll always protect our guys.
Well, Matt told us that he went to you wanting to make a change at punt returner during the game, and you said no. Why'd you stick with Amari, and is he going to be your guy going forward?
I tell you what, I can't thank Matt enough. I appreciate Matt for listening to me when we wasn't having some of our best days, or wasn't having our best day. Excuse me, I'll say it that way. It was important that Amari got back out there and caught that next punt, which he did, and he was able to return it for 15-plus yards. I've watched in this league young returners get broken early. I've watched young returners never become old returners because of things that have happened when they were young. So it was important. It's sort of like riding a bike. When you fall, you got to get back on it. You got to get out there right now. And those conditions wasn't easy, not easy at all. There were wind gusts during the game up to, I want to say, 28, 29 miles per hour. Their guy had problems catching the ball as well, too. Today's winds were very intense, and it was good practice for us. But it was very important for Amari to get back out there.
Well, on the first field goal, the laces looked like they were pointed in toward Mason side. Is that?
It was actually pointing out.
Is it out?
Yes, sir.
Maybe my vision from the stadium was different, but either way, the laces are supposed to be straight on, right?
Yes, the laces should be facing the long snapper. We kind of look at it as a clock, just to kind of give you education. So if the laces are facing the kicker, we call that 6 o'clock. Bad, bad, bad. Don't want that.
Well, how come he couldn't spin it? Like I've seen Corey spin it before. Is it a matter of how much time has gone past when he has to make that judgment?
Exactly. And if he doesn't, or if a holder does not spin it, then the kicker tries his best to make the make the adjustment on the ball where to hit it so it can control it. Yeah.
You know, I appreciate you explaining this simply and not condescendingly. You did say at the beginning, though, about changing humans. Are you working other options in terms of holders, or is the operation personnel going to remain the same?
Well, you never know when injuries happen. So from the beginning of the year, we've been working other holders, other snappers, other returners, because that's just part of the process. So we have other people in the bullpen that we have been working from the beginning of camp since this team has been together.
So you only have one punter, So what other kinds of options do you have for holders? Do you have-
We only have one punter by definition on the roster. We work other people punting.
And hold,
And hold, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You have to. This game is, you know how it is. It's so fickle, man. One day you're up, one day you're not. It's a rough sport. And that's what I really like about it, attacking these type of issues.
So I think Randall's like the emergency quarterback. Who's your emergency punter?
I hope we never have to show who the emergency punter is. We really don't.